Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. It is the final betting weekly game bet match of 2025. So I know you're all upset, but we will be back in the early part of next year for the new season, 2026, which is only, believe it or not, it's only about 7 weeks away. Anyway, joining me, I'm sure he's booking up his holidays. I'm sure he's jetting off somewhere to relax after his year, is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It is Sean Calvert. Good morning to you, Sean. I know this must be a very, very sad day for you today. I know you love coming on here with me 3 times a week, having a chat about the tennis, putting the world to rights. So we won't be able to do it for the rest of the year.
I do love doing that. It's it's a privilege to do it. To be honest, That said, it is a long season. It's a very long season, isn't it? By the time we get to the 12th of November, this season started on, I think it was the 29th of December. The previous year. It's a very long season, but we're super privileged to do this. So fatigue, a little bit happy for the season to finish. And if you're talking about holiday, I booked it ages ago, as it happens, but because of various things, I can't go until sort of the end of December. So I won't be hitting the sunshine beaches for a little while yet.
Where are you off to?
Lanzarote, I think, this year.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
A little less hair this year, little more bags under the eye, and a little
Me or
bit. Both of us, and a little bit. A lot of unfortunate luck, obviously, with our outright picks as well. Some incredible,
crazy
things here that we've never, players withdrawing from tournaments, after one match, probably 20 units that's cost us.
Yes.
And obviously the 2 bets that we've had where the tournament started, both players go on to win the event, which have made a substantial difference to our outright profit. But I understand, hopefully you appreciate our honesty on this show all the way through. Win or lose, we win and we lose together, and hopefully you'll be joining us next year. But anyway, we still have 2 matches to preview for this fantastic tournament. And come on, I've got to get myself pumped up. This incredible tournament. To be fair, it was quite good yesterday. But it's this tournament. It is the ATP. Yeah, it was very good. ATP Turin Championships over in Turin. Before we look at tomorrow's matches, let's look at them 2 matches yesterday. They were good. I mean, the Fritz Alcaraz game was a cracker.
Yeah.
But I don't think Fritz could play any better than that. And obviously Musetti put in unbelievable performance to come from the brink of defeat, running on empty to come back and win that match over Alex de Minaur. What was that? They were 2 good matches, weren't they?
They were. I said on the Instagram that I did yesterday, I fancied Fritz fancied him to win it is what I said. And, he was, a point away a couple of times from serving for a straight sets win. And, I'll talk about Fritz again in a minute, but, had his body held up, then, you're looking at a straight sets win there for Taylor Fritz, which would have made the matches we're about to talk about now perhaps a little more interesting. And Musetti, again, we'll talk about him in a minute, but what if you're Alex de Minaur, I'll talk about him in a minute, but poor Alex de Minaur, he just cannot close matches out, can he? And Musetti with the crowd. I think yesterday was a bit better than it normally is, because you had the Italian Musetti coming from almost a certain loss to a win. And then you had Alcaraz being pushed so close by Taylor Fritz. It just made things more exciting and interesting than they often are at this tournament. Often you've got stuff like, Casper Ruud losing straight sets to Zverev, and the crowd are all kind of, that was interesting. You've been there a couple of times. The crowd, they really do get into it, don't they? They absolutely love it. So, yesterday was one of those rare days at the Tour Finals where you probably will remember those matches for a little while. Normally, when you think of the Tour Finals, you think, well, can I think of any really exciting matches? You're kind of hard pressed to do so, but yesterday was one of those rare days at the Tour Finals where it was quite exciting. Yeah,
I've said it many times before. I think the Italian crowd is the best crowd in European tennis. I'm not saying because some of the South American crowds are wild. The Chilean crowds at the US Open, incredible. The Colombian when they follow Osorio, the women tennis crowd, the scenes there are amazing. But the Italian crowd is incredible. Lucky to be in Turin, lucky to be in Rome, and also in Monte Carlo, which is predominantly Italian as well.
I think it helps that one of the 2 best players in the world is Italian, and you've got another Italian in there as well. I don't know what you've been there. I haven't been to Turin, but what would it be like if Sinner wasn't in and Musetti wasn't in? I mean, you've been there. You tell me. Perhaps it would be the same, but
I think they're appreciative. I mean, we over here have had players in the top 3 in the world, and we've had Tim Edmund in the top 10. We've had Greg Musetti in the top 10. The atmosphere at Queen's Club or Eastbourne is nothing like the 4 Italica. I can guarantee you that. That's one thing to do.
That says a lot about the kind of people in Britain that generally go to places like Eastbourne and Queen's Club, Wimbledon. They're not. I think they're about 40 years older than everybody else in Turin, by the look of it.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at these 2 matches tomorrow. And Sean said he's going to get onto them, and we do. Before we go on to Sean, was there anything yesterday you saw in the court speeds or any comments in the press conferences after that to sort of sum up your opinion of where we are and what we're at?
Well, we got the CPI in. The only one we've got is 38.9, which is kind of similar to last year. A tiny bit slower, you might say, but it's only one CPI from one day. I'd say it was roughly the same as last year based on the court pace index. It's a lively court. It's just not as quick as it was, 2 or 3 years ago.
Lively court indeed, which will suit both of the players. Now, we do not know. I don't know. You might know it. Have the order of play come out yet? I mean,
I think Fritz is first, isn't he?
I haven't seen it. So Taylor Fritz is going to be first against Alex de Minaur, which is an 8 o'clock start, I believe, Eastern time. So nice and early for you in the early match. Alex de Minaur obviously heartbroken last night against the Musetti match. He should have won it. Musetti come back. Musetti must be absolutely exhausted, but Alex de Minaur couldn't beat him. He's plus 155 to beat Taylor Fritz. So Taylor Fritz, his body must be absolutely hanging as well after that performance against Carlos Alcaraz, where he should have won as well. So both of these coming in with a state of mind thinking they should both be in better positions than they actually are. Taylor Fritz is minus 195. De Minaur is plus 155. Spread here is 2.5. The total is 23.5. Alex de Minaur has lost both his matches in this tournament. Taylor Fritz obviously beat Musetti in the first round. So it's I haven't got a human calculator on. Sean has done all that work for me. So I'm guessing Alex de Minaur has to win and win well. They have met a few times. 11 times they met before. And it's the Aussie who holds the slender advantage, 6-5 in the head-to-heads. But Taylor Fritz has won their last 2 meetings. They haven't played this year, but they did play 3 times last year, including the Davis Cup, where Fritz won 6-3, 6-4. This is a quick turnaround for both players after what was a very, very disappointing day for them. They both played well, especially Fritz played exceptionally well, but he should have thought he would love to be here as a winner, 2-time winner of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean Taylor Fritz, we're talking about fitness again, aren't we? It doesn't. These players don't help us, do they? He's revealed that he's been struggling all year with tendinitis. It's very helpful, Taylor. Thanks for that. In the middle of November, coming out with that now is not really helpful to anybody. But you can understand why he's keeping it a secret. He talked about his match with Alcaraz yesterday. He was, as I said, he was very close to serving for a straight sets win, and it would have been deserved as well. And he said the drop in energy came from my knee being completely gone. I've been living with this tendinitis all year, and it became a serious problem from the grass season onwards. I really struggle to play 2 days in a row without the pain flaring up. If I play a really intense match, I need a day to recover. Today, I started to feel it towards the end of the first set, and by the third, I could barely bend my back leg on serve. So it's really unlucky again if you bet Taylor Fritz to win that match or on the outrights or whatever. He had to play 2 days in a row. I think that's because they changed the schedule because of the Musetti situation, but at least he's got a day off before this match. But it's really unfortunate, again for Fritz did for me deserved to win that match in straight sets. He did what I said on the Instagram that he had to do. He had to serve big, take it to Alcaraz. For me, he was the better player over the course of the 2 sets, but he just on those big points, he just couldn't get it done. Alcaraz was a little bit calmer there, and that's what separates these guys. Alcaraz and Sinner, that and Djokovic, they know how to win those big points and what to do at the right times. I think it's coming for Taylor Fritz. I thought he was very close. He would have deserved that straight sets win, but he couldn't finish it off. And as he said, he was physically compromised in the third. You could see that his serve was losing pace, made it difficult for him. But now he's got to win, to qualify against what must be an absolutely desolate de Minaur, and it is, I think, from what he said after the match. He failed to see it out against Musetti he was almost a double breakup in the decider. A couple of times he had break points to go double breakup, and that you think would have been done and dusted. But anyone that followed my Instagram actually would have profited on over sets or over games on that one pretty easy. But it was another one that got away from Alex de Minaur. A point away from 5-2 in the third set against a Musetti that looked absolutely on fumes on the reserve tank. Didn't have anything left in the legs, couldn't get it done, de Minaur. And now he sounds like he's in a bad place. You can sort of see why. After that match, he said, "I don't know how many times I can deal with a loss like this one. I just have to talk with my team and try and sort out these issues, because these are issues that can't keep happening. I mean, if I really want to be serious about taking the next step in my career, these matches, I can't lose them. I just can't. It feels like I've lost a lot of them this year. More than anything, it's getting to a point where mentally it's killing me." So, honest, yeah. And that's nice, because a lot of times the players will not mention this at all. And, you can see he's had a lot of heartbreaking losses. And for me, the issue with de Minaur is that when he gets to that situation, he hasn't got the big weapons to make closing out matches easier. He's unlikely to knock off sort of 2 or 3 big first serves, get himself 40 love up. It just doesn't happen for him. His serve has improved, but it's not a huge serve, and his ground strokes aren't huge. He's got to, the way that he plays is all about consistency and making tons of balls. That's not that useful when you're trying to serve a match out. You want to get it done quickly. You don't want to get dragged into these situations, and he gets dragged into them all the time. And this match now against Taylor Fritz, it just feels like, he can technically qualify to Musetti. I presume he's got to win in straight sets and hope that other things go his way. Doesn't seem likely, and if he loses the opening set here, I just think it'll be game over for Alex de Minaur. I think the fight will have gone out of him. Never won a match here at the Tour Finals. Drops the opening set to Fritz. It will be a huge mental effort for him to come back, unless Fritz is really struggling with that knee. If you look at the last couple of matches these guys have played head to head, any others aren't really relevant because they're too old. Service points won and return points won totals 105-95 in favour of Taylor Fritz. And it's that weapon, the Fritz serve, which has been the dominant factor in this matchup. 88% holds of serve for Taylor Fritz, 82% first serve points won. De Minaur, who's a fabulous returner, is only winning 29.5% of return points in those matches. So he's not doing enough on return, which is his strength. Fritz is also winning more of the second serve points, 52% against 44% for de Minaur, whose second serve is still a weakness for him, and it gets exposed at the top level time and time again. And you go back to de Minaur's record against top 5 opposition. He's played 49 matches against top 5 opposition in his career, and he's won 8. And 3 of those were in Laver Cup, obviously a team competition, and United Cup in Australia at the start of the season, which is another kind of not really official competition. So it's just hard to make a case, isn't it, for de Minaur? Unless Fritz's tendonitis is now an issue, it just looks like a straight sets win for Taylor Fritz is quite likely here. Plus 117, that is, with Bet Rivers. The other option is when the set 2 total games market pops up. I didn't see that earlier on today, but if you can get under 9.5 games in set 2, you might get a decent price on that, because I could certainly see de Minaur fading away if Fritz takes the opening set.
I like the strategy there on the sort of the giving up process from Alex de Minaur. If he can't win the straight sets and he loses the first set, then he's obviously just going to want to get the plane and get back to Sydney or wherever he got to go for his break and enjoy the sunshine and build himself up for the Australian Open. So Alex de Minaur, probably a player to oppose here, but Taylor Fritz does have an injury concern, or his body concern, after what was a long match there. So it's Fritz in straight sets for us, and an in-running play if you can get the 2.5 sets on the under 9.5 games. There are our final leans on that match. Now let's move on to our final match of 2025 preview. It's probably 2 of the best players, 2 of the most, Alcaraz has been superb. Musetti has been one of my favourite players to watch this year. And it should be an interesting match if Musetti has anything left in the tank, which is a big if. We've been saying that for the last 3 weeks, but he has. Yeah. Keep finding ways to come back. Carlos Alcaraz here is a heavy favourite. He's won both of his matches so far. So I'm pretty certain he's already qualified, Sean. Is that correct? If he's won both matches? Yeah,
I believe he has, yeah. I think he's actually won the group from what I read earlier on. But
so he has nothing to play for.
He does.
What money?
No, something else.
World number one.
Yeah, if he wins this match, he's guaranteed world number 1.
The bloke on the television yesterday, the commentator said he's world number one anyway. If he won the match,
He will be if he wins. He probably will be anyway. I think Sinner's got to win the tournament without dropping a set or something like that. It's massively likely that he's going to be world number one, but
okay.
I'll talk about that in a second.
He's minus 670 to win this match. Lorenzo Musetti, after that incredible match last night, the crowd are going to be totally behind him. Alcaraz is always a massive fan favourite, but Musetti here is going to be, you're going to have to support. I can guarantee you that. Spread is 4.5, total 21. Loads of different markets here. Musetti needs to win to qualify through to the semi-finals. Musetti has got all to do, not only against the world number one, but also with an overwhelming head-to-head record against him. They've met 8 times before. 7-1 is the overwhelming win for Alcaraz. The last time Musetti beat him, the only time he beat him, was in Hamburg, when I bet him to win the tournament at 80-1, and he beat Alcaraz in the final. They met 3 times this year, and all of them were Alcaraz wins. The only time where it was quite competitive was in the final in Monte Carlo, when Alcaraz took the first set. And then, Musetti took the first set, and then Musetti got injured and lost 6-1, 6-love.
I remember it well.
We were on Musetti in that tournament as well.
Yep.
French Open as well. Musetti had to retire got injured again in that one, again after taking the first set. So there is a trend here. Musetti does come out the blocks quite quick against Alcaraz, and Alcaraz tends to win the match. Is that where we're going here?
I think there's a strong possibility that set one is the one where he's going to be competitive. Yeah. It's another tricky one to kind of evaluate with Musetti, surely running on fumes. As you said, he did look down and out against Minaur. He should have been down and out, really. But he thanked the crowd, obviously, for getting him through. I think he said something like, I need the crowd to help me perform another miracle, is what he said about this match. Doesn't sound that confident, does he? He needs a miracle, and he's got to have the crowd help him to achieve that. Yeah, I mean, as you said, that 2 of the last 3 times that he's faced Alcaraz, he has been struggling physically. The French Open, he retired. Monte Carlo, he probably should have retired, and probably would have if it was, a sort of third round, or in 250 or something, 500 or whatever. But because it was Monte Carlo, and it is so close to Italy, as you said, you've been there many times, and you do get a lot of Italians there supporting the Italian players. He probably would have retired there. But he won the first set, and we thought, hello, we're in here for a big prize winner. And then I think he won one more game in the match after that, which is not ideal, but there you go. And now he's in a similar situation again. He's played 31 sets in the last 4 weeks, Lorenzo Musetti. Alcaraz has played 8 in the last 6 weeks. So, in terms of accumulated fatigue, it's no contest, and this is some of the reason why Alcaraz is minus 670. Not just that as well, but it is tough for Musetti on indoor hard. As I've said before, it's not his best surface. A decent pace court like this, with that bit of altitude, he does get rushed. With that single-handed backhand, I think it's easier for double-handed backhand players to play on these sort of courts than it is with the single-handed. The slice isn't wildly effective on here either for me, just a little bit bouncy. It's just not ideal conditions for Lorenzo Musetti, and Alcaraz will try and rush him. The power that Alcaraz has got, he's more than capable of doing that. It looks a difficult situation. If you look at what Musetti's done against the rest of the players in this World Tour Finals field in his career on indoor hard, he's played 8 matches, lost 6, won 2, service points won and return points won, a total of 90. And only 28% of return points won. So, on his worst surface, he's got to beat Alcaraz, who will secure the year-end number 1 ranking if he wins this match. And he's talked about it a few times, actually. Yesterday, he said, "I'm trying not to think about it, to be honest. Obviously, it's going to be a really big match for me. I'll try not to let the nerves get to me, and I'll focus on controlling my emotions and myself." Now, that sounds like it's... I don't know why he's getting quite so hyped up about this, because he's highly likely to do it anyway. I don't know why he's getting... Because he was similar in the Fritz match. He was getting agitated, wasn't he? In the first set, he was getting very agitated. I understand that it's a big deal ending the year as world number 1, but I mean, Sinner's got to perform some sort of miracle to take that off him. But it might the way that he's talking and the way that he's been sort of behaving, it might well be another factor that could make this opening set competitive. It could mean a shaky start, from Alcaraz, and you feel like Musetti will probably only be competitive for one set on the just his physicality, on the way he looks. It's a tall order for him. And he's, as you said, he's taken the opening set in 2 of his last 3 matches against Alcaraz. So I think if you are betting in this one, trying to find a bit of value, which it's not easy in the Tour finals. We only had one underdog winner so far, which was Musetti, who shouldn't really have won against Minaur. His tournament is quite tough for value, but I think if you are getting involved in this, and it should be an entertaining match, then set 1 over 10.5 just looks kind of the obvious play, really. Plus 235, that is, with Bet Rivers. You feel like Musetti's just going to give it everything. The crowd are going to be pumped. Alcaraz a little bit shaky because of the reasons that I've just stated. So, yeah, I think that's where you have to go on this one.
Is this a little bit one like the Fritz match? The first set competitive, and if he loses the first set, then suddenly look for the set 2 unders.
Yeah, because I think Alcaraz will probably relax. If he's won the first set against an opponent he's beaten many, many times, opponent he knows is tired, an opponent he knows isn't that effective on this surface, it should be a bit of a relaxation for Alcaraz, and you could certainly see the legs draining from Musetti. So it's a similar situation, yeah.
We've got a price for you. Total set 2. Total games under 9.5 in the Fritz match is plus 130 with Bet Rivers.
Yep, I think that's pretty decent. Yeah.
Now it's our last show. We haven't got an official play. Can I entice you into betting that as our official play to go out of a bang?
Which one?
The set 2 under 9.5 games. Fritz match.
In Fritz.
Yeah, at plus 130.
You can entice me if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the last show. We've got to go. We've got to give these subscribers and these viewers something. So
there are injured players involved in this. That's my concern. These players are not fully fit, which makes it difficult. But yeah,
listen, it's the last show. We're gonna have 7. No, we're not gonna have 1 unit under 9.5. Set number 2 in the match between Fritz and Minaur. Minaur will bet down tools, I think, if he loses that first set, and that could be an interesting one there. At plus 130 with Bet Rivers. That is our official play. So that is our last official play of 2025. The season didn't go as well as we had planned. If John could put the figure back up there, I might see it myself, actually. See. We lost 17, just under 18 units on the year so far.
Wow.
We've got 1 unit on there. But as I said, we've had
really
2 winners as well. I reckon, this, in all fairness, if anybody had bet those 2 tips that we gave, Caboli and obviously Lerner TN last time
plenty of people did.
They'd probably be a little bit in front, just slightly in front. But obviously on our official records, we can't change it. That is what we have on our official records. But there has been some hard luck stories along the way. And there has been 2 players that we've recommended who've won tournaments that didn't go on to results. And there's a whole host of people. Do you know I've got the breakdown of the outrights compared to the matches? Would you like to hear this?
I would, yeah.
Okay, hold on. I need my phone to load up now, so just hang fire with me before we do that. Before I do that, let me just run through my little bits here. Remember, the tennis may be over, but there's loads more stuff coming here on the Betting Weekly studio. So please don't just give up because the tennis is over. Please subscribe. Lots of stuff going today, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Nathan and Dan will on Betting Weekly Live, and that runs through to Friday every weekday. Betting Weekly Tennis Live at 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be on the final show of the year with myself and Mitch Michaels looking at the in-play today on the tennis. And finally, Betting Weekly American show, Betting Weekly PM with Doug and Mike, who have been in fantastic form. That is at 5 p.m. As well as that, you can subscribe to the Betting Weekly newsletter, and the newsletter and the insider will be out on Monday and Friday, and that is free at bettingweeklystudios.com. So here are the figures, Sean, for you.
Mm-hmm.
Outrights, minus 38.5 units.
Well, I mean, we've talked about why that's that, yeah.
Yep. Well, that's the quarter betting, minus 1.5 units.
Yeah. I think we only
money line. Just
go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, only one money line. So money, just bets on the money line, not first set overs, nothing like that. Plus 18.64 units.
Not bad.
And props. So that includes first set overs, total games, anything other than the money line. Plus 3.3 line.
Well, that tells you that tells you what you already know, isn't it? The money line's been pretty good. What we call the match bets have been good. The outrights have been a problem because obviously we had 2 winners that didn't go on the figures, and we had all those withdrawals as well. So I don't think that's too bad. Actually, consider if you think about all that. I mean, a lot of people just bet the match bets anyway, But if you had bet the outrights, you'd been just incredibly unlucky, and people obviously will have bet those outrights that couldn't go on our figures. So. Yeah.
A little bit more of a breakdown for you on the outright markets.
Okay.
Individual tournaments, Grand Slams, we won 6.53 units on outright markets. Yep. We must have had a player in the final. Fritz at the final. So we must have had someone in the final.
Remember that, but okay.
ATP 1000 minus 0.66, 500s minus 14.25, and ATP 250 minus 9.59. I don't think they actually write that because that doesn't add up to 38 units, but that's producer John Full. We'll get back to you on that. But anyway, that's the breakdown on it. And the other thing I would say to you as well is, and which I've just about thought, and the thought has completely gone out of my mind. What was I going to say? Can't remember what I was going to say now. Anyway, it can't be that important. But that has been it for. That was what I was going to say. Most profitable player, João Munar.
That doesn't surprise me, yeah, because he completely changed his, how to say it, the style, the type of player that he was, which was a clay grinder, changed into a guy that could be extremely effective on quicker surfaces, and the books were probably pricing him on what he'd done previously, and there was quite a bit of value on Munar, and fortunately it worked out quite well when we're betting on him this year.
We are back. Just put a name in the diary. We'll be back for the tournament in Brisbane, which is in the early part of January. So until now,
I'll be in
that is it for the
Lanzarote
year.
doing that show.
Well, he'll be in Lanzarote. I'll be stuck here. That is normal. I've got to. This feels like weird to say this, but happy Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody watching it. We're only recording this on the 12th of November. Happy Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. Look forward to seeing you in the new year. But remember, there's loads more content coming. The Champions League continues. The Europa League, NFL, NBA, Premier League, all the leagues across Europe, all the soccer leagues. So there's lots of stuff here on what is still the fastest growing sports betting YouTube channel. And finally, for me to say, Sean, thank you very much. I think this is our 4th year or 4th season we've done this together. I love your moans. Sometimes we've got to negotiate around me taking the dog somewhere or Lagan's football, but it's been a blast. And enjoy your off season. Come back a little bit refreshed, and hopefully cash some tickets in the new year. That's it for 2025. Have a great one, and we'll speak to you all again in January. Don't remember, it's only 7 weeks away, so enjoy yourself. Get fresh, get ready, and we'll be back next year for Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. That's all for 2025.